Those two factors in 15 minutes from the station is going to be something that you're going to want to look for, right? Thanks for tuning in for what you think is another entertaining, great episode. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you all for doing so. The past few episodes, I really appreciate it. Let's keep it up. Keep the comments going. Keep the subscriptions going. And again, thanks. That's all I can say. Yo, hey, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Japan According to Akil. Really random, but we got it together episode. Please excuse like the first probably 15 minutes of the episode. But basically, what I do is the past, we've been off for a little while, but I've collected randomly through the miracle of YouTube's algorithm. A lot of Japan related links have popped up on my timeline, and I've kind of compiled those for one reason or another, and we kind of went through most of them. And I give a little bit of insight for better or for worse or whatever. And, there's a lot of stuff, to go through. I talk about a movie, also a crazy ass movie that I just finished up before recording. But basically a lot of supplemental stuff, way more. I think we got like 8-9 links for you guys, so please check the description, via audio or on YouTube as well. A lot of shit for you regardless of whatever you're into. I think there's gonna be something for everyone. I'm really happy just looking at the list, compiling, getting it organized before recording. I'm happy with what I got for you guys. So hopefully it makes up for the semi-extended break between episodes. So let it speak for itself and enjoy. Hello. Welcome to episode 161. 161. Sorry. I'm completely unshaven. I ran out of shaving cream. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, shit. My beard is all crazy. Oh, I got a lot going on right now. Let me put this down. Hold on. Yeah, I got a lot going on. Yeah, my beard, people on YouTube, my beard is out of control. I haven't shaved like my goatee in like or trimmed or trimmed. I say trimmed my goatee in about a week. And even a week ago, I met with Jeff from my Fukuoka story. If I'll try to remember to put a link to it somewhere up there for people on YouTube. But you should remember if you're a long time listener. But me and Jeff, we hung out, did some family related shit, some chilled out shit, which is cool. So a week ago, and so I kind of just barely trimmed my goatee, but yeah, I just haven't done shit. I've just been lazy, and I ran out of shaving cream, because I kind of wanted to trim it at least before recording, but I was like, fuck, I'm out of it. But anyway, what I did get is, you can see on YouTube, I got some Masuzake. Let me drink this. I haven't drank Masuzake in years. Pretty good. Thank you, Jeff. The smell of the wood, like, because Jeff went and his wife went to the JW Marriott in Nara. Shout out to them. I guess some time ago, and they got like a little, I guess, welcome box kind of set thing. So he gave that to me, and as just a present, just exchanging presents and whatnot. We talked about exchanging presents. Actually, him and his wife gave us presents, and so next time I got in my memory bank, I got to hook them up with some shit. My wife and I, we made eye contact, like, oh, they gave us me and my son some presents, and so we were like, okay, we got them. Next time, we got y'all. Remember I told you about exchanging presents in Japan from that list? Totally true. We already know what we're gonna get them. So yeah, he gave me this little small like welcome box kit of Masuzake with a small thing of, let me see, I got it over here. Just a small bottle of sake. Put that closer by. So he gets those types of gifts and stuff like that. So I guess he had some other shit around the house. So he was just like, huh. So I could talk about it on here. So I opened the box. I didn't have the original box with me, but like, oh shit, I'm drinking from the wrong corner. I'm not gonna whip out salt and do all that shit, but it is good to drink like that every now and then. And I mean, after I finish this, I'm not going to keep the box around, but honestly, when I opened up the box the first time, the smell of the wood, I forgot what, it's like maybe a really good quality wood, because like the whole aroma of fresh wood, just, I don't know what the fuck kind of wood it is, but it's good smelling. I've had it out of the box for a few days, so it's not as strong, and as it's maybe dried out a little bit. The wood dried out a little bit, but still, it's nice. It's a nice change of pace to drink. And just, you see, I'm drinking the shit now. And like you can tell, it's a Marriott, so they put some thought into it, because as you drink this, you see I'm just like shoving my snout into the box, so like the aroma of the wood kind of goes into your nose as you're drinking. It's a very delicate but relaxing kind of thing. It doesn't really affect the flavor of the sake, which is all right. I'm not gonna lie. It's not really like the best kind of, maybe it's very dry. Maybe it's not like yeah kawaguchi. It's like maybe kawaguchi. That might be it. Just, I say, mid-level sake, which is totally fine with me. I appreciate it, but definitely the box. They blew their load on the box, man. Like whatever quality of wood they chose, they did a really good job of it. I'm enjoying just smelling the wood more than I am drinking the sake, to be honest with you. So yeah, I appreciate that, Jeff. Thanks. Cheers to that one. It's totally fucking up the podcast though, because I'm just enjoying this shit, not even really talking to you guys. Let me pour some of this. I got some beer in the fridge too, because tomorrow is my day off. I got a couple of days off. Ching ching. So let me finish this off, and then we can officially start the podcast, I guess. But okay. Yeah, okay. That's a whole 5 minutes of nothing, I guess. But no. This time I got. It's been a while since we talked, but YouTube algorithm has been treating me nice. They know what I like or what you guys like, because they've just been hitting me with tons of links to stuff over the past couple of days, and so I was even thinking like, should I just like save some of these for next episode? But I was like, man, fuck it. It's been a while since we talked, so. If you look in the description, either on audio or on video, you'll see there's a lot of links to external different stuff, and I'm gonna go through most of them. I think all of them that I have, just randomly, and then get the fuck out of here. It's a lot of stuff for you to look at. Some short stuff, lots of mini documentaries, lots of stuff related to Japan. Just see where the conversation goes. That's pretty much the plan for today. Nothing really special on the radar for me, and related to Japan as well. You're probably watching on the news what's going on, so I'm just not going to rehash that. And we're just going to talk Japan this time. So I think and I'm going to drink some more Masuzake. Hey. Sorry. Okay, that's nice. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, just give me a second. Yeah, I had a pretty busy weekend, so this is literally the start of my weekend. I got a couple of days off in a row, so this is like, you're literally watching me fucking relax for the first time in a couple of days, so sorry, okay, but anyway, all right, so let's just get into things. Let me just power through these joints. It's going to be another short episode unless I get sidetracked by some of these. But yeah, before I do that, let me talk about this shit that I was watching for. When I was getting ready, like I finished up this weird ass movie. I'm not even gonna recommend it to you all. I'm not even gonna try and find the translated title. It was just this weird ass movie that was on Netflix here in Japan, and like it was all Japanese. It was, of course, a Japanese movie, but it was it was with it didn't have English subtitles, so I just had to watch it in all Japanese. I just put on the Japanese subtitles and followed the best I could. I could understand about, like, there was a lot of yelling in it, so it was about I could get about like 50-60% of the movie, because basically, my midnight romps through the adult oriented Netflix videos led me onto this one, and It was like the beginning was funny because it's like I think the actress, she's a comedian or something. I've seen the actress before, and she's kind of funny. She reminds me of someone I used to know. Actually, I mean, not like that, no, but someone I used to know's ex-girlfriend. And so anyway, I get sidetracked with that. But so small kind of tomboyish, I'd say, tomboyish Japanese girl, and she basically the story of the movie is, I'll just spoil everything and tell you what the fuck it is because it's really not important, not a major movie at all. But and I was just watching it confused by it, like what the fuck is the point of this? But basically, so this movie, it was like this. It got my attention because it was this young lady talking in a bra, and I'm like, hey, sorry, I'm a dude. I'm like, okay, what's this all about? And I saw in the description she worked in like a Fuzoku 10, a Fuzoku shop, which is, we've talked about that before. And so I was like, okay, well, this could be quite entertaining, and so I'm watching this fucking thing, and she starts just like this monologue. She's got a bra and a fucking skirt on from like a dress suit, and she's talking some crazy shit. And so it turns out like she got hired as to work at a Fuzoku, which is like red light district kind of delivery health type place. And so she goes there as selling her services, and she the first customer she had, he gives her the money, and she was just like, no, it's just too fucking weird. She freaked out. It's like, look, I can't do this. And he's like, no, it's okay. You want to do some role play? It's all good. And she's like, no, I can't do this. Get the fuck away from me. And she like freaks out and runs into the street. She's like, help me, get the fuck away from me. Yeah. And this guy's like chasing her down the street basically in the middle of the daytime. And so apparently what happened is she, instead of being like, a person providing her services, she's just like a helper in the place. And there's a bunch of weird women there, and each one of them has a story. One of them's like the smiley, bubbly psychopath chick, and one of them's the really like, goth kind of like dark atmosphere chick, and then you got the chick who's cute but really fucking crazy and emotionally unstable, and another unstable person, and a guy who's a gigolo, and it's just like all these weird shit going on. And so I'm kind of watching this movie. I was watching like most of it a few nights ago, and I was just like watching it, and then like the driver who's like dating one of the chicks there who's obsessed with it. It was just fucking weird, right? And so I'm just watching it. It's like, okay, so what's gonna happen in this movie, and what's the point of this movie? And so I was watching it for like an hour, and I realized it's just gonna be about these people and their fucking problems in this goddamn like Fuzoku place. And so I kind of just like cut it off and just went to bed that night. And so getting ready for this, I was like, fuck it, it's like half an hour left in this goddamn movie. Let me just finish watching it while I set everything up. And so, I had it on, and it was just all melodramatic and weird, but like I can't relate to that shit. So I think it's supposed to be emotionally connecting. It's supposed to connect with you somehow emotionally, but I just see a bunch of like people with problems and working in like a fucking Fuzoku place, and like I can't relate to any of that shit, so yeah, it was just weird. And like the climax of the movie was like, the psycho chick who was like fucking like the tencho, or who's like the manager of the place, and secretly, and she's like, basically just money hungry and crazy, and recording homeless people, and she's confessed to killing a few people, and there's like this big thing, and then the manager freaks out and starts beating people up, and you can see I'm just watching, it's like, what the fuck is the point of this movie, and everyone starts yelling and crying, and in the end, like one of the crazy girls stabs the manager, and then another person goes to another, she just changes jobs, and she's just giving BJs to people, and I'm just like, what is this? It's supposed to be, but the thing is, the end of the movie is supposed to be all like dramatic and stuff, but it's just like fucking crazy, and just, it's just like, okay, that was a waste of my time, but so that's what I was doing before watching this. No boobies in it, to my disappointment. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I watched the whole thing hoping there would be a possibility of some boobies, but the most you can see was some shitty ass sex scene with a dude's ass. Okay, who wants to see that? I mean, some people, but not this guy. I'm just saying. So I don't know. Whatever. That was what I feel. I feel like such an asshole by describing this movie that way. I feel like such an insensitive asshole now, but whatever. You know what it is. Okay. And then I'm gonna transition. Actually, I'm gonna transition to something. And then we're gonna transition to something actually true. Okay, but I digress. I completely did this the wrong way because speaking, this is a fucked up episode, by the way. Speaking of people completely unrelated to that movie, okay, while I was getting ready, I remember I wanted to say, I feel like such an asshole talking about that movie, and then what I'm about to say. I'm sorry, okay, but whatever. Not whatever, but I'm sorry, really, okay. But anyway, Luna, I have to say what's up to Luna. I see you wrote me a comment, a really heartfelt comment. I'm not gonna say what your comment is. I looked for it. I got an email. I don't get enough comments, so I get every comment notification on my phone. So I read through your comment via email notification, but I couldn't find it on the video that you talked about. I don't know if you shared a lot of personal stuff and things like that, so I don't know if you deleted it or not, but I'm not going to say what you wrote in there. I don't know if you're going to listen to this, but I just want to say thank you for your comment. And yeah, I feel exactly what you're saying, and I'm happy that you have a partner who you can share these things, that understands how you felt. And I would say don't put too much stock in that. I mean, it's not anything heavy, but I just don't want to like put her business out there or anything like that. I just say don't put too much stock in that issue at all. Like that issue is, I mean, it's not anything with her. It's just something sparked from one of my comments. And Japan is, I think, a great place with a lot of great people. And same thing with me and my wife too. Like there are assholes and there are cool people everywhere you go. And not letting one person's opinion or one person's skewed point of view, I'm not going to review it over and over again. Like don't, I would just say don't let it affect you. Like as much as and focus on the connection with the person that you do have, and realize that those connections do cross borders, cross cultures. And I think that is the hope for the future of not only Japan, but the world itself. I mean, look at me, look at my life. Like it's a cross-cultural, cross-racial, cross-geographical, story, miracle type thing. And so I believe that dream, that hope is alive in all of us, and it is an individual choice what we tend to focus on in our relationships, in our lives. And I put what I put out there, and it kind of, you can't really control the internet. It does what it does, and it's the internet. But yeah, I would say, like, put your stock in your relationship and your love, and what is important to you. And everybody else, fuck them. Fuck them. That's what I say. Like that person, fuck them. Pretty much. So yeah, that's all. Okay. Let me finish this sake. I got beer, so let me take a quick beer retrieval break, and then we'll get into some of the videos from the description, and then I'll get the fuck out of here in this crazy ass episode. So hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. So yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, but hopefully you've noticed. But I lost a little bit of weight in the past few weeks. Hold on, let me crack this beer. Hold on. Yeah, yeah. And but yeah, one of the reasons why is because I haven't been drinking at all. And as I drink sake and beer late at night, but whatever. But yeah, I haven't been had the chance to exercise a bit. I had some family obligations this past week, but yeah, tonight's whatever a cheat day, and tomorrow I plan on actually exercising and stuff. So, but they do have the beer that I love. They have that in stock at my local convenience store. Not a convenience store, my local supermarket. The one because it doesn't sell, so they restocked it, and I'm the only one buying it. So I got a couple of these for the episode, and I was like, sweet score. Okay. Let me get into shit because we're like fucking 15, 20 minutes deep into this episode, and I haven't really done much of anything. I feel this is like a random episode. I'm probably gonna call this like random episode or something like that. I don't know, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing right now. Okay, let me prop this up on my pillow so I can talk about it. That is not going well. Okay, whatever. Because I got microphone. I need a mic stand. Fuck. All right, I got a microphone. I got beer, and I got my tablet thing and shit. All right. Okay. Ha 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 ha. People, I'm sorry. This is one of the worst episodes I've done in a while. Okay. So let me run through the topics I have for you very quickly. So, first one. Again, this is all YouTube's algorithm. Put it on YouTube's algorithm. Like, it's doing a great job. I hope it keeps pumping out these hits for you guys. Because I think it's cool that, even if this episode is complete bullshit, like, you can kind of scroll through, and see, like, a variety of stuff about Japan that's kind of curated. I've been slacking on Flipboard, I forgot. But, whatever, I just threw that shit out there. Again, this is all hobby. Like, I'm not being consistent about anything, but hopefully I'm laying the seeds for me to kind of double back in the future and, actually properly do this shit. So, all right, let's get into it. So the first one is a really cool link that I came up in my profile, my timeline about the cheapest apartments in Tokyo that are technically in Tokyo. I think the first one or two are just crappy ass apartments. Like, I was just like, ugh, and of course no one would want to live there. But the later, I think one or two apartments were actually, good, decent apartments that I guess single people would live in. Again, when I moved to Japan, way back in 2004, I had never really had to go like super apartment hunting. The only time I only went like apartment hunting one time, and it was just ironically how I met my wife. But I mean, in my apartment search when I lived in a guest house, from 2005 to 2006 for about a year and a half, I would say. Yeah, about a year and a half is when I lived in that guest house. That was like that guest house experience was the only time I was apartment hunting, and Jesus, it was like looking back. I talked about it before. I still remember the website. It was fucking fluorescent blue. It was crazy. It was like on like the 7th or 8th page of like Google search. Like, it was rough, man, back then. The internet has come a long way, man, because looking at the apartments there, I was like, I ain't have no access to this shit. And, like real estate agents in 2004, 2005 was not fucking with foreign people at all, really. So I don't know, pretty much like you had to have a company sponsored apartment, and that was about it. So now, though, it seems like there's a lot more services, a lot more infrastructure for people. That particular apartment is, quite far away from central Tokyo. It's like way the fuck. It might sound like, oh, it's just 30 minutes away from blah blah blah. No, no, no. You in the fucking boonies. Like technically you're in Tokyo, but you're in the fucking boonies. So, yeah, if you are thinking about apartment hunting in Tokyo, in Japan, wherever the fuck you are, like in the Tokyo, I'll just focus on the Tokyo metropolitan area. I've talked to people as well, like people like, oh, I live in Asakusa. I'm like, you live in Asakusa? Like, yeesh. You know, I mean, for a tourist area, it's fine, but it's not close to anything really. So, you know, take your apartment hunting here, you know, very seriously. I would say, excuse me, if you want to live in Tokyo, you're gonna pay more money, but southern part of Tokyo or southeastern part of Tokyo, relatively near the Yamanote line. Like if you think the Yamanote line, just as a rough estimate, you're gonna wanna be 15 to 20 minutes away from the Yamanote line. Probably 15 to 20 minutes or no more than 10 stops away from the Yamanote line. I think is a good gauge of you know, closeness. And then on top of that, you're not gonna want to be anywhere beyond 15 minutes from your train station. 15 minutes for like a single person living in Tokyo is about the limit of what you're gonna want to be. Basically, 15 minutes you're in striking distance on foot. You know, pretty much that's like 15 minutes is like the range of attractive apartments, you know, in any major city, right? Anything beyond 15 minutes, you're gonna pay a lot less, but you're gonna be kind of like on an island quite a bit, you know. And so if you because I mean, if you think about it, like wherever you work, if you go 15 minutes to the station, then if you're too far out, you go, you know, like 20, 30 minutes to get within striking distance of the Yamanote line, for example, which means you're another like 20, 30 minutes within striking distance of possibly of where you're going to work, you know, on average, right? So in that case, you got like an hour plus an hour 15 minutes, meaning you're an hour 15 minutes door to door, right? And that might not sound too bad, like if you're like, yeah, I just want to go to Japan and live life there. But when summertime starts rolling around and once you get settled here and you want to actually do things and, you know, it becomes a bit of an issue. So, you know, if you can afford it, if you can hack it, you know, of course, it's just general kind of broad strokes, you know, thumbnail sketch kind of advice for moving to the Tokyo area. But, you know, just, you know, 10 stops or less and or 20, I'd say 20 minutes away from the Yamanote line. 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, you know, within a shot of the Yamanote line, you know, depending on this express, limited express. Trust me, you know, those two factors in 15 minutes from the station is going to be something that you're going to want to look for, right? And you're going to pay for it, of course. Either, you know, it's going to be the age of the apartment, the size of the apartment, or the cost you're going to pay. There's going to be one of those three things. You can't get all three. You just can't do it, right? So you're going to be in a small-ass place in a good-ass area that might be old as shit, for example, you know. But ideally, I'm thinking of like a single person in their 20s, who I'm talking to, right? But you know, I mean, that's what we're here for. You're here just thug it out. It's a place to lay your head, wash your ass, you know, poop in the poop, poop. Poop in the poop, poop. That's kind of what you're here for, right? I mean, after, you know, all this situation is all said and done, like, you know, you're going to want to just enjoy your life. So, but definitely like the place that was shown towards the end, those newer places, I mean, I've heard that they are there, but those are going to be catered more towards Japanese people with seishain jobs. You've kind of heard me talk about this in the past if you're a long time listener. Again, you know, see some of these things come up. So if you're like keiyakushain, contract employee, for example, non-regular worker, for example, it might be a little bit tougher unless you've got like a nice little stack, you know, that you're willing to blow to get yourself established. And by a nice little stack, I don't mean like $1,000 or something like that. I mean, US, let's go $7,000 to $10,000. If you've got $7,000 to $10,000, just off the top of my head, if you've got $7,000 to $10,000, then, you know, I would not really worry too much about the type of apartment that you would, you know, your range of available apartments kind of gets quite a bit wider, because, you know, if you got a job and you've got $7,000 to $10,000 in your pocket to move into a place after you land into Tokyo, the range of available places you can live in widens up quite a bit, right? And you can see like the newer places and things like that, because I'm not going to get into a whole thing about apartments, which I actually am now, even though I don't want to, but whatever. Since we're here, let's go into it quite a little bit, because, you know, realistically, right? If you come here, let's say ideally you got 7,000 to 10,000 in your pocket, you know, I think off the top of my head it was around like 100,000, which is like about, you know, again, add 2 zeros, 100,000 yen. As a general rule, so about $1,000 US, about 100,000 yen, around that area is kind of what you're paying for the one with the loft towards the end of that first link, right? And so, you know, let's say you're in a reasonable area or something like that, you get that. That's going to be kind of more in demand, and the landlord, if they take you, will probably have more generally have more preferential treatment for Japanese people. But, you know, for them to say, all right, cool, whatever, like working with a real estate agent that caters to, for example, foreign people or something like that, then you're going to have to pay for those services, which means you're going to pay real estate agent fee, which is 1 month's rent, that's 1,000. First month's rent, that's 1,000. Deposit 1 or 2,000. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4,000 off the top, right? Just to move in, probably. If maybe there might be key money, which might be another 1,000 or half of that. Then you got a guarantor, which you might have to pay another 1 or 2 months rent. So you can see easily that's 7,000 off the rip, just before you can even move into the fucking place. You know, it looks nice, you know, but just to step into the door, like I've been hit with like 5,000, you know, 5,000, 7,000 bills just to like walk into a fucking place, like, you know, and like it's nothing. It's like, yeah, you just gotta pay this. So I've talked about it before in here. You feel dirty. I'm not gonna lie, you feel fucking dirty after paying all that goddamn money just to set foot in the place, because a lot of that shit is not coming back to you, you know. But you know, if you want the place, you're gonna be here for a while. That's what it is. So my advice coming here, you know, just to get settled, 7,000, depending on where you want to live, is kind of cutting it close. 10,000, Joshua, I'm also talking to you, you know, 10,000 liquid money that you can kind of just, you know, plop down and not think twice about would probably be a safe bet, you know. And I'm sure, you know, it's your second time around, Joshua, so yeah, that would be a safe bet. Okay, I think that was good for you guys. Excuse me, sorry about that. Actually, that might be the title of I might just copy and paste the title and put a review of that, because that's a pretty good chunk of information. Okay, next, let's roll through it. Fashion. This might not be a short episode because I got more beer in the fridge, and you know I like to ramble when I talk. No, what? You know I like to ramble when I drink. So hey, we'll see what happens. But next thing, fashion rules for women. In parentheses, I wrote down conservative women / women who are not my type. That was the first thing I watched, like about 60-70% of this video. I was like, yeah, these chicks are not my type at all. They do give some general information about like how people dress, like mainstream, I'd say conservative college chicks dress, you know, who, oh gosh, I sound like such an ass. I feel like I sound like such an asshole in this episode, but they're kind of boring. I'm such an asshole. But yeah, basically the chicks in this video, they're fucking boring. But I mean, you know, they're bilingual, and many of them are bilingual. They're interested in studying English and things like that. But just like none of them in that video would be, if I were single, like, you know, and let's say 10 years ago, for me would be any. I would not be interested in any of them. Even if I was in a nightclub, there'll be the chicks that like fucking. Oh gosh. Okay. Never. I mean, nothing bad, but it's just like they would not get much attention from me, or probably most. It depends on my friends, though. Okay. I'm such an asshole on this episode. Wow. Okay. But basically, like I included this in here so that you can kind of get a feel for, one, fashion wise, and two, I knew I would talk about the personalities of these chicks, but you just can kind of see, I mean, from what I remember, I watched this about a week ago. I remember them being kind of rigid, kind of, not fluid, and a little bit bland. I mean, they're nice girls. They're quite nice girls. Like, I have, as English students, they'd probably be really interesting. I say that. I think they'll be fun to teach, but to hang out with and have a drink with, nah, not really. I'll just leave it there. You just watch it if you want to. All right, next, eel is expensive. Again, you've probably heard me say this. I don't really like eel. The aftertaste of it for me, there's a slight aftertaste to it that I don't really appreciate. I think it's more like the cost. I think more expensive eel doesn't have that aftertaste, but like regular or cheap eel does, and so I just don't really like it. For my palate, eel has kind of like a slightly metallic aftertaste to it that, I mean, I'm not disgusted by it. I'll eat it, like I'll eat eel sushi, I'll eat eel bentos if it's served to me, but I'm not gonna go for the eel, so yeah. But I didn't really watch this. I watched a few seconds of it, but I'm kind of familiar with the information. But if you're not really, don't really know what's going on, check it out. Business Insider blessed us with that one. I think this is another Business Insider. They just hit me with all the Business Insider Japan shit. How soy sauce is made. I didn't watch this at all, I'm not gonna lie. But just, if you want to know this one and another one later, I'll jump to it now. Where is it? Shit. Oh, wait, hold on 1 second. I want to make sure that because this was actually like a pretty good video that I want. Oh yeah, okay, good. Yeah, I just didn't include it in my list. Sorry, but the soy sauce one and another one. I need to match these together actually, because they're quite similar. Give me 1 second. This is why Japanese knives are so expensive, and why eel is so expensive actually. I think these might be both Business Insider, but they're really actually good. I watched most of the knives one until the last few minutes before I had to get ready to go to work. But so I get off the train to go to work. I remember I watched it on the train this morning. It popped up on my algorithm. But yeah, it's really about, like, I think both of these, I'm pretty sure the soy sauce one as well. I'd like you to kind of pay attention to how, detail oriented Japanese people are, how people really kind of focus in on whatever niche, whatever thing that they're into. And especially trades or crafts with a long history. There could be deep niches, deep trades here that have such a long history, generations of knowledge and experience and things like that, which is amazing. That's one of the things that makes Japan such an interesting country. But on the other hand, that's one of the hindrances of it, because it's such a deep and storied trade or craft that it's dying off, right? So I'm pretty sure it'll be brought up in one or both of these videos that as these tradesmen, as these craftsmen, I think Skiji as well touched on that as well. Like, as these trades and craftsmen kind of die off, retire off, their skills are kind of dying with them, right? And I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen. I mean, I think inevitably some of these skills and crafts are gonna be lost, right? Because trades are gonna be lost because there's a general lack of young people, and there's a lack of young people who are willing to put in the work to master these niche skills, trades, and crafts, as they were in the past, for a lot of factors, in my opinion. A lot of them, at the end of the day, are macroeconomic. I'm not going to get into economics, but, there's just a lack of apprentices there, for these people. You're not going to, like, fucking sweat out your 20s and 30s in a knife factory so that you can make the perfect knife nowadays. You would be on Instagram doing shit, and these craftsmen aren't willing to, share their secrets. They got pride, and so they're not willing to open up and share to the world, as they might need to attract new people into their craft, and allow it to survive and thrive, as long as it has existed. So that's one of the things that's a bit not disheartening, because it's not really my culture. So I'm not really like, oh shit, that's so fucked up that the 100-year-old knife manufacturer might go out of business. Like, hey, it's evolution. It is Darwin. It is what it is for me personally. Because I'm just here. I'm a tourist. I'm a long-term tourist here. I'm just here along for the ride. So, it's not really my responsibility to save the knife factory. Like, but I am curious about what's going to happen, and keep mental track of these type of trends. I see it in the news every now and then. They're like, oh, it's dying. What are we going to do? But like, I'm eating my popcorn like, what y'all gonna do? So far I don't see anything. So I don't know. But those things, definitely check it out. Again, I'm just dropping hits on you, like, this episode, right? What else we got? Japanese. Oh shit. Oh yeah. I couldn't read my handwriting for a second. So a couple nights ago, I was just like flipping through TV. I forgot what I was doing just before going to bed, but there was some women's wrestling on, and it was. I wish I was inspired to try to find the wrestler that was. I mean, it wasn't that inspired because her name was on the screen, and I just was too lazy to go to search for the female wrestler's name because she was such garbage. Oh yeah, I was like, I could just search for this chick's name, but like, I'm just not gonna do it. So I just like, fuck it. I just found what I found, and I found like one Japan female wrestling episode, and I just threw it on there for you guys. But the level and the style of wrestling here is completely different. It's a throwback, and I mean, one, the quality of the wrestling isn't as high as like the WWF or WWE as it's now known. I used to watch wrestling quite a bit, like every fucking Saturday. Goddamn Hulk Hogan, the Rockers. Like, I remember when Shawn Michaels, betrayed, did the heel turn, and fucking kicked Marty Jannetty through the fucking, candy glass at the Brooklyn, the Barber Beefcake's fucking, barber shop, interview joint, and he became, the Heartbreak Kid. I remember all that shit as a little kid, The Rock until the like fucking Attitude Era, D-Generation X, and after Stone Cold Steve Austin and D-Generation X, like, I remember the Undertaker's premiere and when he became a shit. I remember all that shit, like until about high school, and then I kind of like got out of pro wrestling and stuff like that. But I went deep into that, damn. But I used to watch a lot of wrestling, like, and hold on, let me make sure I'm still recording. Of course, Okay. And yeah, so I know wrestling, right? I mean, I know my way around wrestling, I'll say that. And like, so I'm just sitting there the other night, and I turned on the Japanese TV because I forgot what the fuck I was doing. And yeah, this women's wrestling, but like it's like the shittiest. It's pretty shitty, right? Like the wrestler, I wanted to find this wrestler, but again, you know, the wrestler I watched was quite entertaining, but she was also quite shitty. So I didn't want to put energy into Googling a shitty ass wrestler, But if she popped up on my timeline, I would have like threw her up on the podcast, but I didn't find her. So I just, whatever popped up, I just found it and I just put in like in Japanese women's pro wrestling. And then like I just looked through one or two videos and I was like, all right, fuck it, whatever. So I put up one episode of, I guess, a women's pro wrestling league episode. If you're into wrestling, go ahead and you can watch it. Better for worse, whatever you think, it might be your thing. Hey, I don't know, but I just got a couple laughs out of it, and I was like, all right, whatever, fuck it. But, but yeah. If you're not into wrestling, just skip that link. But pretty much, like one to be forewarned about, like wrestling, not only men and women's here, is kind of seen as, again, Japanese majime, really serious kind of spirit is seen as a similar to like actual wrestling. It's not so much entertaining. It's like the actual technique, skill, and strategy of the match is kind of what the fans go there for. And so it's really like throwback wrestling to like when wrestlers kind of took the shit. It sounds kind of disrespectful for modern wrestling, but took it seriously, or the theme of wrestling was more, traditional competition. I don't really know how to say it without sounding disrespectful of modern wrestling, but okay, if you think about it, like traditional, like modern wrestling is more spectacle and entertainment in the West, in America, let's say that. It's just, if you're talking gore, you're talking shock factor, you're talking like stunts and shit like that, finishing moves, finishing moves has always been a thing, but modern wrestling is much more about the spectacle of the match. Traditional wrestling in the 80s, before Hulk Hogan, right? Maybe even Ric Flair, but even Ric Flair too was more of a traditional wrestler. But let's say Hulk Hogan, I think, Hulk Hogan was like right, Ultimate Warrior was kind of when my ears perked up as a kid, right? I'd say, Ultimate Warrior will probably be like an example of like spectacle over skill of a wrestler. I say that's kind of how I describe it, right? So Japan is all about the skill of wrestling, right? Like it's like, if you watch this video, you'll be like, oh my god, the pace of the match, like the moves that are chosen, the crowd reaction, like there's a lot of downtime in a fucking Japanese wrestling match. Like I can't even really watch the shit. Like I don't even watch wrestling anymore, but like it's a lot of downtime where, you're just like, fuck dude, come on, get up and like do something. And so like of course, women wrestlers, like I'm not being sexist or toxic, it's just true, physically are built different from men. So the stamina, the strength of the wrestlers is different. So, and you can tell like they're not like WWE wrestlers, especially female wrestlers, like, you can tell they train. They're like built. Even though there's a difference between the male and female, their physical abilities, like they're quite acrobatic. They're quite strong. So their capabilities are there, to really pull out like a lot of like, high impact moves in succession. The ones in Japanese women's pro wrestling, like I'm like, I'll see you at the izakaya. Like I'll see you like hanging out, like you just like walk off the street. I mean, yeah, you're trying, the moves like a lot better than I would be able to do, but they just don't have like the strength, the stamina, or the skill to be able to like pull it off. But because it's Japan, because they're trying hard, like I feel like it's a thing. So I was entertained for about 15 minutes watching it. Not even 15, for like 7 minutes watching. It was a strong 7 minutes. So I threw it up on the podcast. So if you're interested in wrestling and want to see the difference, just watch that shit and you'll know what the fuck I'm talking about. Okay, a couple more. Wow, this is a pretty nice episode. Surprise. Okay. Why is it easier to stay thin in Japan? Yeah, again, I feel, a bit big, but I'm relatively thin, and just a really interesting video about the diet and the diet choices here in Japan, which is quite true. I went, got a sandwich, like my lunch today, for example. Again, I'm not on a diet, but I do kind of like try to watch my calorie intake, but it is quite easy to do so here in Japan. Like, I for breakfast I had like, well, my normal breakfast is, if you want to know, is organic peanut butter and raw honey sandwich on whole wheat bread. I have that like almost every morning. A bunch of vitamins and supplements, and like a raw meal replacement cacao smoothie. That's pretty much my go-to breakfast, for most days. It's just fast, it's nutritious, it's filling, and it gives me some energy for the day. Lunch, I've cut out snacking, so I had my lunch at about 2:30 today. So for lunch I had tuna. I'm just buying sandwiches, so I bought like a tuna fish sandwich from like this kind of fresh sandwich place. Better quality than the convenience store. No real preservatives that I know of. I gotta check the label just to double check. But it seems like it's a lot more fresh than the convenience store one. So I got tuna fish today. Normally I get like chicken, or they have a wide variety. They got like 20 types of sandwiches there. It's a sandwich specialty shop stand, if you will, inside of the department store that I go to, a shopping center that near where I work. And then I have miso soup, like packets, but today I didn't have miso soup. I was just like, fuck it, I just can't be bothered. And so I went to the convenience store and I was like, fine, I want something. And I was like hesitating. I was like, fuck, I'm trying to cut my calorie intake because, blah, 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 whatever. And I ended up buying like these small, like healthy, kind of healthy themed, what's the word? How do I describe these goddamn things? Yogurt flavored sandwich snacks. Like, it's not cookies, it's not crackers, but it's like kind of wheat type thing. It's like it's marketed as a low calorie snack. I check the calorie. I try and check the calorie intake on it, and so that was it. And I came back and I had a pretty good dinner, but it was like, tofu, spicy tofu, rice, some leftovers, which was leftovers with some white rice. Then I was still hungry. I had like a little piece of like mochi bread that my wife had earlier, and then I had some more left. We had some we ordered last night, so I had a bit of leftover fried rice, like, I don't know what the fuck, soy sauce fried rice with some meat in it. It was good though. I just give me the fucking usual that I get whenever we order from there. But the volume of what I had was not that big compared to what it would be in America. And for me, I didn't really eat healthy today. I would say, it was just like an average. And then I'm drinking like some sake and a little bit of beer, and I'd say it was kind of a high calorie day for me, like living in Japan. I wouldn't, if I had to give myself a score on the calorie scale from 1 to 10, I'd probably give today my food choices a 5 or a 4, pretty much, in Japan terms. Like, it'd probably be like a 5 or a 4. I don't feel too good about my choices like today, but I don't feel terrible about it. Again, 5 being average, but so you can kind of see, and this video kind of helps explain why, right? But yeah, it's true. It's really true. You know, I mean, I'm getting older. I got a little bit of but I'm trying to manage it the best way I can. Again, but also in my 20s, I was very much in the gym. I like to kind of be cut, get the little pee. But now I got like a 0-pack. I'd like to get some packs back in my life at some point in the future. Okay, before I get out of here, wow, it's like almost an hour episode, which is really nice. Like surprise, yay. Last one is a follow up, I think, to a video that was on Vice Japan sometime in the past, but it's a full on interview with Japan's custom Lamborghini legend. He seems like an interesting type of guy. Just to give you, I'll let his interview speak for himself. Some insights into what he was talking about. I was kind of looking at him. I was like, wonder where he got his money when he was younger. And it seemed like, he did some illegal things, maybe selling drugs, maybe, related to Yakuza nightlife. I would imagine might be the thing. He might have spent some time in jail. And then luckily I kind of wanted to know how he makes his money, not to pocket watch the guy. I'm just curious because, like, of course, if you're not living in Japan, seeing someone with some tricked out Lamborghinis, you might be like, oh shit, that's cool, that's dope, if you're into cars or into that type of thing. But it's quite out of the ordinary and a little bit quite frowned upon, especially if he has a lot of money. I'm not sure. It's 50-50. Like, for him to be that flashy with his Lamborghinis, he might have some money, but not like cake like that. Or he might like something related to, like, hostess bars, like something like that is what I would imagine. Just from like the way he carries himself or something like that. He owning some type of, like, nightlife, night entertainment type shit is kind of what I'm feeling, the vibe I'm getting from the guy. Again, I don't know. I'm not going to research it too much, but that's just what I feel. But yeah, so, I mean, he seems like a nice guy though, but it's generally frowned upon in Japan to be that flashy, customizing a Lamborghini and rolling around like that in Japan. It's kind of like Nali King, it's kind of like new money, and especially to have it tricked out the way he is, like, and carry himself and dress the way he does and have his hair the way he does. He probably gets quite a bit of pullback and quite a bit of stares and mumbles. Again, wall of pillows. He's getting hit with a wall of pillows wherever he goes, but he seems like the type of guy that's like, fuck it, I don't care, I'm just gonna do me. More power to him. Like, hey, I'm not criticizing the guy at all, but I just want you to get a little context by watching it. Don't think like, oh yeah, that's cool, that's dope, that's like the, Tokyo Drift, fucking Teriyaki Boy style, baby. Like, no, he's like the only guy on the road doing that shit. I'm just saying, like, you're not gonna see too many of those, like, rolling around. Again, like, you might see a group of them, but because you got like scattered all around and then they squat up and like roll around, but people are just like, kimoy. Which is like kimochi warui, which is like, that's kind of like gross or creepy or weird, pretty much is what I'd say average people with money would think about him or them or his squad, but he's the leader of them, and so he's doing his thing. So I'm not knocking him. I'm just telling you what, like, mainstream Japanese society, he is definitely an outlier. So don't really think like that's kind of what you're going to be seeing. Don't let Tokyo Drift fool you. I was thinking about this again. Probably, I forgot. I haven't watched that movie in fucking maybe over a decade, but I believe the first 10 minutes of Tokyo Drift is a pretty, not 10 minutes. Once he goes to Japan, the dude, there's a good 15 minute. Nah, it was not 15 minutes. It's gotta be like 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes where he's like in relatively normal Japan life, and the second he goes into some garage or some shit like that, and it's like some tricked out cars, then it just goes into complete fantasy land. But when he's riding the train, when he's in school, that feels like generally pretty much everyday life here. Feels pretty realistic. So don't watch that Lambo guy dude and think like you're gonna be seeing dudes like that running around all over the place. Not really gonna happen. Okay, but you know, it is what it is. So okay. We're pulling up on about an hour, dude. Like I was wrong. It's another one of those episodes where I was just wrong. Again, let me drink some shit. Magic happens, right? Okay, because I haven't really. I'm be fucking hungover tomorrow probably because I haven't drunk in like a long time. But good stuff. Again, some good links. A lot of stuff to keep you occupied until we have another episode. So we'll leave it there, and I'll holler at you next time. Peace.